What's going on, my trainer club? Today I'm going to give you my top tips to help you max out on the evolution event in Pokemon Go, because I've already been strolling around and man oh man are these spawns amazing. So I can't wait to give you my tips. So welcome to the trainer club. Here we go. Welcome back, everybody. Let me know in the comments below, what do you guys think about the event spawn so far? Have you done any research, and have you gotten any shinies? Because there are a lot of Pokemon spawning in the wild right now that, number one, are pretty good contenders as far as good quality Pokemon, and number two, there's a lot did I say a lot of shiny potentials out there. So I am super hyped on this. This event is honestly going to be super fun, and I can't wait to see all you guys tweeting at me at the Trainer Club with 2Bs of your shiny wins. That is definitely where we celebrate the most for our shiny encounters. So let's get into my top tips right now. But starting off, we definitely want to know the exact details of when this event is going to go until, and the bonuses which will leak into the tips. So let's get into it right now. This evolution event is going to go all the way until December 12th at 1 p.m. Pacific time, 4 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Central. So if you need to know the correlating time zones, I think you guys should know them by now, but you can always plug them into Google and get the time zone of where your area you're at. So the event bonuses are going to include 2 times XP when you evolve Pokemon. So number one, if you haven't evolved any of these specific Pokemon and you've been waiting, it would be a good time if you're going to do a mass evolution, which we'll get to in my top tips. 1 hour lure modules, which is super crucial for grinding, for getting Stardust, and for anything as far as the evolutions go with the new premium lure modules. Evolution items are going to be boosted, given out in the raid battles, as well as the research tasks. And according to Zoe, thank you for commenting on my last video, Zoe, she said that Unova Stones are going to be included in the event. So we're going to cover that as well. And there's going to be a couple new raid bosses that are going to include Lickitung, Scyther, Ralts, and Togetic. So now let's get into my top tips to make sure you guys are fully maxed out. You guys can take full advantage of this event, and you can try to get as many shinies, and you can have some items stacked up going for Community Day coming up next weekend. Not this weekend, but next weekend. Let's get into it. So my tip number one is going to be a pretty easy, pretty straightforward one before we get into a little bit more of the advanced and complicated ones. It is going to be take full advantage of Burmese as much as you possibly can, because I'm in Illinois. I never, ever see sandy Burmese, and I've already caught 3 sandy Burmese today, which also has a shiny potential, so you can get all of these shiny potentials, but Burmese also going to evolve depending on the gender of which Burmy you're catching. So definitely catch as many as you possibly can. Look out for some good ones, and most importantly, Wormadin, which is going to evolve from the female Burmese. Definitely check in the evolutions to make sure you have the right one. Is going to be a pretty beast PvP type Pokemon, so definitely a Pokemon to look out for. Which brings me to my tip number 2, which is going to be focus on all the Pokemon in the wild that are going to be boosted spawns that, number one, are going to have shiny potentials that maybe you don't have. Number 2 are unique and crafty Pokemon that could be good in raid battles, that may be translating into the December Community Day, as well as good attackers and PvP Pokemon in Pokemon Go. So let's check out all the charts that we can to make sure you know exactly what the boosted Pokemon are, what the shiny potentials are, and then which ones of them are my favorites to focus on.
As far as all the Pokemon that are out in the wild, man, oh man, are there some amazing Pokemon out here. There are some awesome shiny potentials. So we're going to go through each one of these and tell you obviously which can be shiny and which one you may want to look out for. So Poliwag is obviously have a shiny potential, not incredibly valuable, but it can become a contender in PvP. Magnemite is a shiny potential. It also can go all the way into Magnezone using a magnetic lure. So it's definitely a Pokemon that I highly suggest doing. Really like it. Onyx, shiny potential, great Pokemon. Steelix is definitely a contender in the PvP. Then we have the Horsey with the shiny potential, which is amazing. I love the shiny Horsey with that teal, and it is going to be a somewhat okay PvP Pokemon. Then we have Scyther, which has a shiny potential. Scizor is a definitely top bug type Pokemon. And then we have Eevee. The great thing about Eevee, number one, it has a shiny potential. Number two, there are a lot of evolutions for Eevee. So now would be a great time to stock up on as many of these as you possibly can. Try to get some good ones. If you don't have any good ones, maybe you want to get some lucky ones, which the strategy would be to catch a lot of them and then trade in mass. Only trade Eevee for Eevee, Eevee for Eevee, and keep doing that to try to get to trigger lucky Eevees. And then we'll go over how to evolve them and what that is in the Community Day tips video. Then we have Dragonair. I also saw a Golbat as well as a Lairon. Pretty common right now. And then we're going to go on to the Apom, definitely shiny potential. Then we have a Misdreavus, which has a shiny potential. Like I said, the Gligar shiny potential. Sneasel's out there with the shiny potential. And Weavile is going to be a top ice type Pokemon. Swinub, which has a shiny potential. Definitely a great one to stack up on as many of these as you possibly can, because Mamoswine is the top ice attacker, and it definitely has a Community Day effect coming up. And then we have Roselia boosted. Love it because it's the top grass type attacker in Roserade. So definitely try to get that shiny potential. Try to stack up on as many of them as you can. And then we have Phoebus. Phoebus does have a shiny potential. Doesn't hold too much weight as far as an attacker or a PvP type Pokemon, but definitely a cool one. We also have Duskull out there. Duskull is going to be a shiny potential. Really like the Duskull. Snorunt also has a shiny potential. And then, like I said, Burmy, and the Trash Burmy, which is the red Burmy, is the one that is going to evolve into the effective PvP type Pokemon. So there's a lot of shiny potentials out there, guys. Get out there, click, play, have fun, do as many as you possibly can. And then another one that's not on here as well is going to be Ralts. There's a decent amount of Ralts Pokemon out there, so definitely get out there. Try to get as many of the Ralts as you possibly can. We have a Community Day coming up, so if you need to evolve any of these Pokemon and you want some lucky ones, this would be a great time to start stacking up on your Ralts and once again do mass trades.
So definitely focus on the Roselia, the Swinub, and the Magnemite. They all have shiny potentials, but they're all pretty powerful and useful Pokemon, especially for the Swinub that is going to have a big focus in the Community Days, but you don't really necessarily need the Community Day move. Like I said, one is pretty good because the Ice Attackers is the primary way, but the Ancient Power is also kind of useful. It's kind of spammy when you're utilizing it as a maxed out Pokemon when you're going against the Grunts and the executive leaders Arlo, Cliff, and Sierra. Which brings me to my tip number 3, which is going to be make sure to max out on all of the research tasks that are possibly going to be out there and start stocking up your items, in specific the Sinnoh Stones, because the Sinnoh Stones, like I said, are going to be pretty powerful going in, and try to get as many Unova Stones as you possibly can. So now we're going to check out all of the tasks that are going to be related to these Pokemon to be able to get the good quality items, because you want to max out, you want to be stocked up, you want to be efficient going into the Community Day, number 1, and for number 2, to make sure you have everything you need to evolve any of the Pokemon that you may be missing. So let's check those out right now.
I honestly think the tasks are the highlight of this event, personally. So we have number 1, catch 5 Onix Metal Coat. Catch 5 Porygon and upgrade. For the record, I have not seen any Porygons out for me personally. Catch 10 Horsey, Dragon Scale. Catch 10 Sunkern, we are going to get a Sunstone. Catch 10 Poliwag, or it could be a Slowpoke. We are going to get a King's Rock. And then we have Evolve 5 Pokemon for 1,000 Stardust. Pretty effective there. Then we have Evolve 10 Pokemon, like I said, the Pidgeys, the Weedles, the Rats, the Wishmers, any of that extra candy that you guys just have and want to get rid of. Great thing to do. You're going to get one of the 3 options that are going to pop up, all 100% IVs, 209 and Burmese with shiny potentials. Then we're going to have Evolve a Phoebus for 3 rare candy. That's a pretty effective one, honestly. If you can stack 3 of those in your bag, it's going to be a really good way to get 9 rare candy pretty easily with 1 evolution. So stack up on those guys. Use your Pinette Berries if you're planning on completing these tasks. And then we have Evolve an Onix, which is going to give you the potential to get a shiny Scyther. Shiny potential with 1160 100% IV. Then we have use an item to evolve a Pokemon is going to give you a Clamperl encounter with a shiny potential 100% IV 544. Then we have hatch 7 eggs, which is going to give you a Sinnoh Stone. Honestly, I have a lot of Sinnoh Stones, so if you guys need Sinnoh Stones, this would be a good way to do so, but you're going to have to be churning through quite a bit of incubators, and if you do so, I highly suggest having 3 tasks to get after. Then we have win 5 raids. I really love this, to get a lore module, which is going to be a glacial, mossy, or magnetic lore. And then finally, we have the Unova Stone, which is going to be win 3 times against the Team Go Rocket leaders for a Unova Stone. I would say this is going to be, a little bit challenging, a little bit time consuming, but it's definitely going to be worth it, especially if you can find 3 of them, stack them up, and then get after there and go and beat all these leaders. Like, really good thing. And last but not least, we have some raids. So tier 1 raids. If you need to find a Phoebus, there's one in there, there's Ralts, and then there's all the Burmese. But the Burmese are so prevalent, I really don't suggest raiding for one. I mean, they're not super powerful Pokemon. They're more PvP, so I would definitely not do that. We have Tier 2, that's going to throw in a Lickitung, Tangela, Electabuzz, Yanma, Mawile. All of those except the Mawile have an evolution. Then we have Tier 3, which is going to be pretty similar. We have the Alolan Raichu shiny potential, Onix shiny potential, Scyther shiny potential, and we have the Porygon, which does not have a shiny potential. And then Tier 4, 4, the one I'm going to point out here is going to be the Togetic, because Togekiss is the top fairy type attacker in the game. You're not going to be able to get a shiny Togetic. You actually have to hatch the shiny Togepi, which is going to be in the 7-kilometer eggs, but that is definitely something you may want to consider doing if it's going to be prevalent on raid day, because Togetic is definitely a highly sought after Pokemon in the fairy category.
Which is amazing, guys. Make sure to focus on those stones and focus on the rare candy, which is going to bring me to my tip number 4. Tip number 4 is going to be make sure to evolve any of the Pokemon that you do not have in your Pokédex if you are looking for them. And number 2, to do mass evolutions. What do I mean by mass evolutions? I mean, if you have a lucky egg, you time up some friendship bonuses, number 1, or if you don't want to do that and you have a plentiful of lucky eggs and you're looking to rank up or get more XP, what you're going to do is you're going to pop an egg for the 30 minutes, and then you're going to go in. You already have to have a bunch of stocked up Pokemon, and then you're going to evolve, because you're getting 2 times XP for evolutions. If you use a lucky egg, you're going to get 4 times evolution XP, which means for any of the players that are not level 40 or are looking to get more XP, or whatever the XP goal is that you have, great time to do it. The other thing is, like, excess candy, like rat candy. I think I have around 8,000. At no point in my gameplay am I ever going to use that. So if you're a trophy candy collector, you may not want to evolve past that. But functionality purposes, I remember back in the day, Tommy, who had 300 million XP a year and a half ago probably, I asked him, how do I get to 40 the fastest? He said evolve absolutely everything. So think about it. You can get candy pretty easily, pretty frequently. I'm not going to tell you to evolve all your Bagons en masse or your Beldums or anything like that. Like, save the effective Pokemon, but stuff like Weedle, Caterpie, Pidgey, Rattata, anything like that. Blow through the candy, do mass evolutions, evolve as much as you possibly can, sit there for 30 minutes on an egg, maybe have a gotcha running in the background so it can be catching Pokemon, it can be spinning stops for you, and completely max out on this. And that brings me to my tip number 5. Guys, you want to be out there doing the raid day on Saturday, December 7th from 11 to 2 p.m., right? This is going to be a great time because you're gonna get 5 free raid passes, but you have to use them in sequential order. You're not gonna get a dump of 5 passes, you have to use them. So for me, my non-legendary raid medal is absolutely poor. It's at like 300. My legendary raids are about 3,000. So any chance I get to do raids is gonna be a great thing. Number 1, you wanna be out there and hunting 2 Pokemon or 3 Pokemon. So the Pokemon that I would suggest doing, because in level 1 raids, you're going to get Bulbasaur, Charmander, and Squirtle boosts. I don't know if that's only going to be them. If we get more details in a leak, maybe on Friday or Saturday morning, I'm definitely going to be doing a video to help you guys out. But as of right now, Bulbasaur is going to be the 2nd best grass attacker when it becomes Venusaur with the Community Day move. So now would be a great time to use some of those passes to start doing some raids on some Bulbasaurs. Charmander going into the Charizard is a pretty good contender with Blast Burn on the Community move, so that's a great one as well. And then the Blastoise with the Hydro Cannon. Unfortunately, as the top water attackers, it's not super prevalent, but as far as PvP goes, it's definitely a Pokemon that comes into weight. So what you would have to do is raid for it and then trade for it. And the tier 2 raids are going to include the Ivysaur, the Wartortle, and the Charmeleon. May be an effective strategy for you guys that are looking to evolve on Community Day, because you're saving 25 candies if you're targeting the tier 2 raids, which is a really good strategy because number 1, you're going to save 25 candies so you can evolve some more. Plus, you're going to get a little bit more XP from the tier 2 raids. And then tier 4 raids is going to include the final evolution states of the Blastoise, the Charizard, as well as the Venusaur. So here's my thought on this one. Obviously, if you get the tier 3, you're not going to be able to evolve it anymore because it's in its final stage on Community Day and you're not going to be able to get the move. So what my primary focus would be to get the tier 2 raids, to be able to get the Charmeleon, the Wartortle, or the Ivysaur, to be able to have them ready for evolutions if you get a good one. You also get more candy if you're going to Pineapple those guys. Or if you're like, I just strictly need candy, what you could do is go into the tier 4 raids and start trying to Pineapple these guys to be able to get more candy, because if you Pineapple a tier 4, you're going to get 20 candy of any of those 3, which then could add to, because just remember, we're going to have to be raiding for those Pokemon or hatching them out of eggs. They're not going to be readily available in the wild spawn, so that's why in my beginner Community Day video, if you do want to check it out up here, I recommended going for the Turtwig as opposed to the Bulbasaur, because it's such a close 3rd place, but right behind the Venusaur. So that's where and why I recommended that to you guys. That's going to do it, guys. Make sure to get out there, check as many Burmese as you can. You may want to cut into your Pineapple berries just a tad tad bit to be able to stock up on Burmy candy, because Burmy's not the most common Pokemon ever. Just know if you do so, you're gonna have to do a little bit extra grinding as far as stops go to build your pineapple berries back up going into the December Community Day, which is going to be the weekend following this one, right? That's gonna be super imperative and super important for you guys, but you do wanna get out there and click as many of these Pokemon as you can, build upon candies, and if you don't wanna use your pineapple berries, just make sure to grind a little bit more, go into some overtime, stack up on these Pokemon, and then look out for the shinies. There's tons of them in the wild. That is gonna be a great focus, and then stock up on evolutionary items that you need, and make sure to do your raid day on Saturday. Just do the free. Even if you can't get out there, just go out there and do 1-star raids, get the Stardust, get the evolutionary items, maybe get a good quality Pokemon if you need it, or if you don't need it, just do it anyway because they're free. You might as well use 6 passes, because if you have an extra pass on Friday, going into Saturday, you'll then get 5 free passes afterwards, which would be a total of 6. So that's gonna do it, guys. I appreciate you guys for being here, all my likers, commenters, subscribers, and Patreon members for taking their subscriptions to the next level. I'm gonna see you guys out on the next video. Peace!
I just want to take a moment and sincerely thank all of my Patreon members, everybody that has taken their subscription to the next level and chosen to support me on this platform. I greatly appreciate you guys. As a growing channel and really trying to grow and improve as much as I possibly can, I really appreciate the extra support. You guys mean the absolute world to me. I cannot wait to connect with you soon, and I appreciate you guys all for being a part of the Trainer Club. I will see you guys out on the next video.